A mortgage is essentially a loan that is used to purchase property. The borrower, also known as the mortgager, receives money from a lender, referred to as the mortgagee. This allows the borrower to purchase a property. In return, the borrower promises to repay the loan plus interest over a set period. The property itself serves as collateral for the loan. This means that if the borrower fails to repay the loan, the lender can seize and sell the property to recoup their losses. Mortgages are crucial for making homeownership accessible, allowing individuals to purchase property without needing the full purchase price up front. There are two primary types of mortgages: equitable mortgages and legal mortgages. While both serve the same fundamental purpose, they differ in their creation, formality, and the level of legal protection they afford to both lenders and borrowers. Understanding the difference is crucial, especially in situations where disputes arise or when unforeseen circumstances threaten the ownership or possession of a property. Historically, mortgages were simple transactions, with the lender physically holding the property's title deeds until the loan was repaid. Over time, these transactions became more sophisticated, leading to the development of different mortgage types, each with its own set of legal implications. In the next sections, we will delve into the nuances of equitable and legal mortgages, providing clear examples and explaining how the Supreme Court has interpreted their distinctions. This knowledge will equip you with a better understanding of your rights and obligations, whether you are a homeowner seeking a mortgage or a lender securing your investment. An equitable mortgage arises from the intent of the parties involved rather than a formal registered agreement. It is based on principles of fairness and equity, seeking to prevent one party from unfairly benefiting at the expense of another. In essence, if a court recognizes that the parties intended to create a mortgage, even without a written contract, it can deem the arrangement an equitable mortgage. Imagine this scenario. Sarah needs a loan to start a business. She approaches her friend, David, for help. David agrees to lend her the money, and Sarah, in return, promises to give David a claim on her house if she fails to repay the loan. While they don't draw up a formal mortgage agreement, their mutual understanding, backed by Sarah's promise, creates an equitable mortgage. Equitable mortgages are often less formal, arising from situations like the one described above, or through informal agreements, partially completed transactions, or even through conduct that implies a mortgage-like arrangement. However, because they lack the formality of registered legal mortgages, they can be more difficult to prove in court. The lack of a registered document can lead to ambiguity and potential disputes, especially if circumstances change or one party fails to uphold their end of the bargain. This is where the Supreme Court's interpretation of equitable mortgages becomes crucial in providing clarity and legal certainty. In the next section, we will explore the characteristics of legal mortgages, highlighting their formal nature and the enhanced legal protection they offer to both lenders and borrowers. We will then delve into the Supreme Court's interpretation of both types of mortgages, illustrating their distinctions and practical implications. In stark contrast to equitable mortgages, legal mortgages are formal agreements created through a specific legal process. These mortgages are registered against the property's title at the relevant land registry or government office. This registration serves as a public record, clearly stating the existence of the mortgage and the rights of the lender. For example, let's say John decides to buy a house. He approaches a bank for a loan. The bank, after reviewing his financial situation, approves the loan. John and the bank then enter into a formal mortgage agreement. This agreement is documented, signed, and registered against the property's title. This registration makes it a legal mortgage. The formality of legal mortgages offers several advantages. Firstly, the registration process provides transparency and certainty, leaving no room for doubt regarding the existence of the mortgage or the lender's rights. This reduces the possibility of disputes and litigation, as the terms are clearly documented and publicly accessible. However, this formality can also be a double-edged sword. The stringent requirements for creating a legal mortgage can be complex and time-consuming. Failure to comply with even minor legal formalities can render the mortgage unenforceable, potentially jeopardizing the lender's investment and the borrower's claim to the property. This is where the Supreme Court's role as the final arbiter of legal disputes becomes paramount. Its interpretation of the distinction between equitable and legal mortgages, particularly in cases where the lines are blurred, provides crucial guidance, shaping the legal landscape and impacting how these transactions are approached and enforced. In the following section, we will delve into landmark Supreme Court cases that highlight the distinctions between equitable and legal mortgages and their practical implications for both homeowners and lenders. The Supreme Court's interpretation of equitable and legal mortgages has evolved over time, shaping the legal landscape and providing crucial guidance in resolving disputes. One landmark case that sheds light on this distinction is Barry versus Davies in the year 2000. In this case, the court ruled that an auctioneer who withdrew items from an auction because the bids were too low was liable to the highest bidder for breach of contract. The court reasoned that an auctioneer was obligated to sell to the highest bidder unless a reserve price had been set. The Barry versus Davies case is just one example of how the Supreme Court's interpretation of legal principles can have significant practical implications. In the case of mortgages, the court's rulings help to clarify the rights and obligations of both borrowers and lenders, ensuring fairness and predictability in these important transactions. For homeowners, understanding the difference between equitable and legal mortgages is crucial when entering into any agreement that involves their property as collateral. Seek professional legal advice to ensure that any agreement is properly documented and registered to avoid potential disputes and protect your ownership rights. For lenders, the Supreme Court's rulings underscore the importance of adhering to the strict legal formalities required for creating an enforceable legal mortgage. While equitable mortgages may offer a degree of flexibility, the lack of formal registration can lead to uncertainty and potential challenges in enforcing the mortgage. In conclusion, while both equitable and legal mortgages serve as valuable tools in property transactions, their distinctions, as highlighted by Supreme Court rulings, have significant practical implications. Understanding these differences is essential for homeowners and lenders alike to ensure their interests are protected and that their agreements are legally sound and enforceable.